Hi, it's Mr. Smith, and in this video I'll be going over our syllabus for Math 1332, which we call Contemporary Mathematics. So first of all, if you contact your instructor, you should hear back within 24 hours. That's me. Normally you're going to hear back from me much sooner than that. Obviously on the weekend and holidays, there may be a little more time between or before I can answer. But I do want to say, if you send me an email and you don't hear back within 24 hours, please resend it. Sometimes I'll click on it real quick and I don't have enough time to take care of it, and then I forget about it later. That's probably the most common case if I do miss, but don't hesitate to re-email me. But again, I'm usually pretty good about getting back. So this is my contact information. My name is Scott Smith, and notice Scott is with one T, and that's where I get my nickname, 1T. My email is scottsmith@dallascollege.edu. My number is 972-677-8940. So if you want to have a conversation, that's the number to call. For office hours, I do meet at Brookhaven, or that's where my office is, so if you ever want to come in, you're certainly welcome. Just email me and I can let you know how to find me. Office hours are by appointment. Just email me and we'll set up time. I used to set up an hour or two a week at certain times, and I just find that people's schedules are all over the place and it's just a lot easier to do it individually. And as far as, let's see, I guess the next thing is contacts. So there's a bunch of contacts that they've added to the syllabus for students. Things like, contacting your success coach to get free tutoring. There's several others. There's 5 total there. So look through those and make sure that you are aware that they're there. And if you need to get a hold of anybody, or at least those people, that's how you get a hold of them. All right, we're going to move on to course information. So again, this is Contemporary Math, Math 1332. Our section number is 41108, so that's how you tell the difference between our class and others. And this, of course, is the fall, an internet course. We'll talk more about the certification date shortly, and the last day to withdraw from this course is November 14th, if for some reason you need to do that. Now I just want to say, sometimes students will get frustrated or just discouraged, and they'll just stop coming, and they think, well, I'm just not going to do college, and next thing you know, a couple years later, things have changed. They come back and they're on academic probation. So please don't be that guy. Make sure that I hope you'll talk to me, but you can also talk to these other, student success coach is a really great place to start. If you're a veteran, Veterans Affairs, if you're getting financial aid, you probably want to know, how that would affect your financial aid. But anyway, just do it the right way, and that's my suggestion. You can read our course description. There's some student learning outcomes for the course, so you can read those on your own. I'm going to go ahead and move on to the next page. We have Texas Core objectives, things like critical thinking skills, communication skills. These are skills that we want you to leave with when you leave the college, hopefully in a better place. And these are things that are important when you get out in the real world. So just wanted to mention those. You'll see that on all of your syllabi. Required course materials. Normally you're getting your books. In our case, you're getting MyLab Math, which is an online program, and you have an online textbook, and all that comes as part of your tuition. So that's what we call the Include-Ed program. You're enrolled in Include-Ed by default. If you want to opt out, then you're responsible for buying materials. it's reached the point where it's not worth it, guys. You're not going to save. If you save anything, it's not going to be much. We're one of the least, or I should say, our tuition is one of the lowest tuition amounts in the country, not just Texas. So you're not getting ripped off by just using the Include Ed program, I promise. The textbook, that's this one here, Thinking Mathematically. Um, Again, this is an interactive software called MyLab Math. It used to be called My Math Lab, so sometimes I call it that. So it's an online textbook-based software where you're going to be completing your assignments. So you're obviously going to need access to a computer. Of course, this is an online course, so you would expect that. So I hope you have a good Wi-Fi connection wherever you're going to be doing your work. To get started in My Math Lab, you just go to the MyLab Math link in eCampus, and then when you click on that, you'll see several links, and if usually you're going to go to the assignment link. And the first time you sign in, you'll have some questions to answer, or at least one, and then after that, you'll just go directly to the homework. Let's talk about the calculator that you're going to need. So the calculator does not come with as part of your course material, so you will need to get one. This is one that I highly recommend. It's the one I'll be using in class. I understand that you may have another one around. If you're using a graphing calculator and that's what you're good at, you can make that work. But the real inexpensive calculators, scientific calculators, don't tend to be all that helpful when we get to the chapter on financial math. We do a lot of formulas, and with this calculator you have a window, you can see everything as you're typing it in, and it looks just like it does on paper. It makes a real difference, and so I hope that you'll all either have that or the graphing calculator or a calculator that has similar abilities. All right, let's move on to the next page. They usually run somewhere between, well, I got them on sale for 15 something on Amazon just recently, and usually they're about $18 to $20 in the store. But very good calculator, and very much worth the price. Okay, so graded work. Notice 15% of your grade is homework, 10% is quizzes, and 75% is tests. So I literally had a couple of students last semester that either didn't take tests or did really bad on the tests, and they ended up not passing the course, and they didn't understand why, because they did so well on the homework and the quizzes. You can see tests are 75% of your grade. Most important thing is that you can demonstrate that you're learning the material, and that's what the test is helping you do. So you want to make sure you take all the tests seriously. Your final grade is based on the typical percentages. 90 to 100 is an A, and so on. Let's go ahead and look at the description of graded work. So for homework, you'll have homework for each section that we cover. One of the nice things about MyLab Math is you get immediate feedback. You know if you did the problem right or wrong. And usually if you get it wrong, you're going to see or have access to a detailed correct solution. Not always, but most of the time. But on the other hand, I do want to mention that I highly recommend that you do all your work in some kind of a notebook. One of the ways we learn is through writing things, and the other thing is by writing things out. And normally what I tell students is, write the basic facts of the problem so you know what the problem was, show your work to get your answer, make a note of any questions or problems along the way. And so when you take your quiz, which will cover maybe 3 or 4 sections of homework, you can go back and review those things, especially maybe there's some things you still need to ask questions about. And once you've kind of looked that over and maybe even practiced a little bit, then you're ready to take the quiz and eventually the test. So The notebook can be very helpful as far as preparing for quizzes and tests, and also it helps you to learn better. The quizzes, so again, they'll assess your ability to recognize and complete problems from multiple sections, and they're a good indication of whether or not you're learning the material. I always tell students, try to do the quizzes without using your notes, because when you take your test, you cannot use your notes. And so you need to make sure you're actually learning how to do the problems, that you understand how to do them. Notice you can take the quiz up to 2 times, and I'll use your best score, and they are timed. Normally you have 60 minutes. Quizzes are 10% of your grade. So for tests, you have 5 tests. They're each worth 100 points. So again, that's 75% of your grade. You get to take each test once. Tests will be administered online in MyLab Math using the Lockdown browser and Respondus monitor. We'll talk more about that later. A laptop or a desktop computer with a webcam is required. Alternatively, if you don't have that, students may arrange to take each exam at one of the Dallas College academic testing centers. So before the first test, I'll give you a detailed description of what you need to do before you take your test or to take your test. Notice if students have an average of 80% or better on the homework, I'm going to drop your lowest test score. That being said, I do require all students to take test 5 during finals week. So we don't have a final, but you do have to take test 5 that week. All right, let's move on to the next page. So late work policy, so everything should be, I'll tell you, one of the most important things, if you want to be successful, get your homework and your quizzes done on time. You want to jump right in at the beginning of the semester and build a strong habit of getting them done on time. Same thing with tests. Anything though that's late has a 25% deduction up until you take your test. So for example, after you take test 1, you cannot go back and do the assignments from chapter 1 and 5. That material is covered on test 1. So you can do assignments late, but only up until the day of the test. Normally students will not be allowed to take a test late. You can always contact me if there's going to be some kind of an issue, and most of the time I'll be able to work with you. If you miss the deadline for a test, contact me immediately. I'm a really reasonable person, but at the same time I want to make sure students are serious about the course and are putting in the effort it's going to take in order to pass. All right, instructor-student communication. This is very important, especially in an online course. I'll be making announcements basically each week. I'll be putting out announcements for each test. And so it's important that you're monitoring your email and that you're using your school email. If you need more information about that, you can click on this link on the syllabus, or you can ask me. Also, please do not hesitate to contact me if you have any questions, any problems along the way. Again, it's really important to get off to a good start, and I'm here to help you do that. But anytime throughout the semester, I want you to be comfortable contacting me if you need anything or have any questions. Let's talk about attendance and participation. Of course, you won't be attending, so basically your participation, you're going to show that you're participating by enrolling in my math lab or MyLab Math and completing assignments, homework assignments 1.1 through 1.3 and quiz 1 by Sunday, September 8th with an average of 70%. So actually that's a real minimum. You'll notice that stuff's due the first week, which is I think September 1st. To actually be on schedule, you should have all the homework up through section 5.6 done by Monday, September 9th. And as I said before, my recommendation is that you're getting 80% or better on the homework and quizzes. I often have a number of students that get 100% or something really close to that, and it really helps with their grade. This is our emergency communication policy. Basically, if there are any changes, cancellations of class or anything, you'll get an email from me and probably from the school. Hopefully we won't have any ice days this winter. Institutional policies, these apply to this, anything related to tutoring, disability services, dropping classes, repeating classes, Title IX, and more. If you haven't been here, you should go there at least once and make sure you're familiar with the policies. Finally, I just want to say that I reserve the right to make adjustments to the syllabus and the schedule based on the circumstances this semester. So I think I'm all done with that. We can just look at the schedule real quick. So you really should print out the whole syllabus, but especially the schedule, and I would keep it wherever you do your homework, because you can see right here, you know exactly what you've got to get done the first week, and it's due on Monday the 2nd. And so it's these 1, 2, 5, 6 assignments are due the first week. And in my math lab, you'll see that the dates correspond to what's here. If they ever don't, just let me know. Notice week 2, those assignments are due the following Monday. And finally in week 3, you can see we'll have our first test. And again, all the dates are right here, and you'll also see them in my math lab. All right, so that's pretty much everything I wanted to share. If there's still questions that you have or anything that's not clear, just let me know and I'll be glad to clarify. All right, that's going to be it for this video.